If you're a marketing manager who are really considering maybe changing jobs, if you're always feeling like you're constantly behind, you're working overtime, I think there's a few things that you can check before you start looking for another job. What I experienced for years working in the States, working in Europe, I've worked in Asia, in mostly industrial type industries, there were certain things that were just very, very consistent. You have a boss who just always is asking for a lot and not necessarily that being realistic, definitely not connected and to a long-term strategy. They just get out of some meeting and suddenly there's just a flurry of things that they want you to have ready and, trying to keep everyone happy. And you just kind of feel like there's a lot of busy work that you're asked to do. I was the person people came to when they needed a brochure, flyer, something on the website by Friday. I've seen colleagues, unfortunately, work in jobs like this where they're not really proactively building a marketing plan and implementing that marketing plan. It seems like mostly it's reactive. That's kind of where a lot of marketers are. And that's kind of a structural issue. And that really tells you how the marketing department is viewed in the company. A lot of times marketers can question, is the problem me? A lot of times that can cause us to question our abilities. We're just getting tasks done. We're just like a service desk, right? Come, bring your tasks, I give it back to you. And that's not the problem of the marketer. You are hired to do marketing, which is a strategic part of the company, but we're then being used just to action someone's to-do list. And a lot of times that means not given the resources needed to actually act strategically. But a lot of us are in marketing because we want to actually have a realistic, effective, sensible marketing strategy, and we want to implement that over time, not this scattershot approach where we're just kind of doing whatever needs to be done that week. I think we need to understand the difference between the two and understand how we're looked at in the company. If we can understand how we're being kind of positioned in the company, then we can understand what we need to do next. The fix for this isn't working harder or necessarily finding a new job. Step one, write down what you've been doing for the last 5 working days as closely as possible, hour by hour. That'll really help you to identify and categorize the type of work that you're doing. If 80% of what you're doing is just getting emails or requests and then actioning those, responding to those, this is an indication that your marketing is being treated as a service desk. You're not really being able to work strategically. Now, what's really interesting about that is once you've kind of documented how you spent your time that week, you can take that to your boss and just say, hey, look, here's how I spent my week. Then that's data that they can work with. So if you are wanting to be more strategic, but you keep getting buried in just all these things all the time that need to get out, really guard your thinking time. Block out time specifically for working on a larger campaign, a newer project, a big picture strategy for the year or for the next 6 months. If that time keeps getting eaten up, document what keeps pulling you away from that. That documentation, again, becomes part of your case to leadership to ask for their support. Step 3 is advocate for yourself. Connect what marketing is doing to what management is most concerned about. Not just KPI. Think about what does management always bring up? What do they seem to be always concerned about? Think through what is on their concern and connect as much as you can and show that you're in support of it. Some of the biggest projects that we got greenlit in my working history is because I understood and I took the time to understand what is management concerned or what will make them most concerned here. And let's frame the presentation from that way. Let's frame the conversation from what they look to lose on their side. Would you like to look cooler than the competitors every time? You want to have a bigger network than the competitor CEO? Like that kind of phrasing just puts it in terms that they can connect with really quick. Step 4, you might be the only marketing person on the team. You might have a team of 3 or 4, maybe larger. Look at what you can outsource with contractors, for example. Content, video production, video editing, graphic design. Bring in some outside support that is flexible. Have a vetted contractor who can do certain things for you. Find a good agency on a retainer that has some flex support. So stuff that we've been doing recently is we have certain things that we're doing for companies, but then we also have flex hours because there's just always crazy stuff that comes up. We're like, hey, let's partner with you and we'll help you get those things done.